Hey everybody, so I'm heading in the house right now. You need to stick around. I am going to share some information with you right here in this video that will change how you look at what's going on in the world on this planet right now. You need to stay tuned. Listen to this. Okay guys, it's time to be real, okay? We're going to talk about something here. Let's put it this way. When I learned this information, it changed the way I see the United States, the way I see racism, the way I see banking, the way I see the matrix, all of it. This sealed the deal for me. So hang with me here. It's going to take a couple minutes for me to read this. This is a passage that was written by a guy named Edward Mandell House. He wrote this to President Woodrow Wilson at the time, right prior to when the Federal Reserve was about to be created. Hang in there. I'm going to read this. This is going to change how you see what's really going on in this world. I'm going to preface this by saying very simply, it don't matter if you're black, white, Latino, brown, green, purple, blue, what tribe, tongue, creed that you belong to. This information changes how you can look at what's going on in the world today. Buckle your seatbelts. Ready for this? The creation of the Federal Reserve. This is a guy named Edward Mandell House. He wrote this to President Woodrow Wilson, and I quote, "Very soon, every American will be required to register their biological property, that's your body, in a national system designed to keep track of the people that will operate under the ancient system of pledging. By such methodology, we can compel people to submit to our agenda, which will affect our security, and as a chargeback for our fiat paper currency. Think about it. What did Tesla say? Think in terms of energy, frequency, vibration. The means of exchange for goods and services is called currency, energy. Keep that in mind. Every American will be forced to register or suffer to be able to work and earn a living. They will be our chattel. The word for chattel, it's where we get our English word for cattle. It means property. They will be our chattel, and we will hold the security interests over them forever by operation of the law merchant under the scheme of secure transactions. Americans, by unknowingly or unwittingly delivering the bills of lading, that's your birth certificate, ladies and gentlemen, to us, let me reread that. Americans, by unknowingly or unwittingly delivering the bills of lading, your birth certificate, to us will be rendered bankrupt and insolvent, secured by their pledges. Folks, are you starting to see what's really going on here? We were lied to. This United States is not exactly what was portrayed in our history books in school, is it? Let me continue. Texas billionaire, oil tycoon, Edward Mandell House wrote this to then President Woodrow Wilson around the time the Federal Reserve was created. They will be stripped of their rights, they meaning us, and be given a commercial value, like a cattle, designed to make us, them, not us, them, profit. And they will be none the wiser. And not one man in a million could ever figure out our plans. If by accident, one or two should figure it out, there's a hell of a lot more than one or two figuring this out right now, ladies and gentlemen. We have in our arsenal plausible deniability. They'll just deny it. After all, this is the only logical way to fund government, by floating liens and debts to the registrants by consent, ladies and gentlemen. We're filling it out by consent and signing your signature, you're signing your nature over to them in the form of benefits and privileges. In other words, they took your God-given, unalienable constitutional rights, and now you have to purchase them back from them in the form of benefits and privileges. Are you kidding me? Scratch that. This will inevitably reap us, them, huge profits beyond our wildest expectations and leave every American a contributor to this fraud by our consent. You sign your nature away, you consent to the whole deal, you fill out those registrations, you're contributing. Which we will call social insurance. There's your social security number. Without realizing it, every American will unknowingly be our servant. However, begrudgingly, the people will become helpless and without any hope for their redemption, and we will employ the high office of our dummy corporation, the president, the highest office of the corporation, the president. Do you know president is a business term? Monarch, prime minister, king, queen, that's the term of a leader for a country. President leads a corporation. Let me reread that. We will employ the high office of our dummy corporation to foment this plot against America. So listen up. Again, I don't care where you're from, what tribe, what color, what creed, what language you speak, what your skin looks like. The bottom line is the whole deal. The courts are banks. It's about banking. You are a subject of this plot, of this fraud. I just read it to you. You can look this up online. This is very easy to find. Edward Mandell House, memoir to President Woodrow Wilson. Woodrow Wilson said something in his farewell address as president that he said something, and I'm not quoting it, but he said something on the order of, I just basically screwed my entire country. I am a very sad man, because he knew what he did. Not everything you see on social media, on TV, is really what happened. Not everything you were taught in your school books is what really happened, ladies and gentlemen. We need to wake up. We need to understand the United States Incorporated isn't a nation. It's a business. And what I just read to you is a big part as to why the US dollar is top dollar across the world. And guess what? It's falling off the table right now. Do your research. There is nothing backing the US dollar. Back when FDR did the gold confiscation in the, around right between World War I and World War II, where they took all the gold of the American people, then Tricky Dicky basically came out and said, we're going to remove the gold standard from the backing of the dollar in 1971. Your dollar is a debt note. It's a debt note. It has no value. Folks, do yourself a favor. Don't believe everything you see on social media. Don't get emotionally involved in somebody's opinion. Find out what really happened. Find out what's really going on. Find out what's really happening when you go vote. Find out what's really happening when you go to court. Find out what's really happening when you sign your nature away on applications, on registrations, and on licenses. Understand that the courts are banks. Understand, or should I say overstand, I don't stand under anything, overstand why your birth certificate was actually created, why you got a social security number, and what the Sesta KV Act of 1666 really means. When we get emotionally involved in somebody else's opinion or in false history, we're led astray. When we become emotionally attached, connected, and involved in the truth, in what really happened, which involves a lot of digging and deep diving, we can be set free.